This is an online Catholic Bible study program produced by J.C. For Me. Lesson 6, the Book of Leviticus. Notes prepared by J. Aloysius Ignatius, Father Gerard J. D. Silva and Father Trevor de Souza, OFM. Summary. The Book of Leviticus, associated with the tribe of Levi, provided priests and assistants for temple worship. It served as a liturgical handbook of the Levitical priesthood, focusing entirely on laws and rubrics. Additionally, it offered instructions and regulations for the people of Israel to maintain untainted holiness in every facet of their lives. 1. Structure of the Book of Leviticus. The first part of the Book of Leviticus, Leviticus chapters 1 to 7, addresses the laws of sacrifice. It identifies 5 types of sacrifices in Leviticus chapters 1 to 5, holocausts, cereal offerings, peace offerings, sin offerings, and guilt offerings. Leviticus chapters 6 to 7 cover the rights and duties of the priests concerning the sacrifices, specifically addressing Aaron and his sons. The second part, Leviticus chapters 8 to 10, details the ordination ceremony of priests, which is connected to the directives provided in the book of Exodus. The third part, Leviticus chapters 11 to 15, focuses on legal purity, covering topics such as what is clean and unclean, skin diseases like leprosy, and sexual uncleanness. The fourth part, Leviticus chapter 16, provides an in-depth look at the Day of Atonement, Yom Kippur. The fifth part, Leviticus chapters 17 to 26, discusses the law of holiness, compiling all laws, rituals, ethical codes, and practices. It addresses the sacredness of blood, rules of behavior, the holiness of priests, rules on sacrifice, the liturgical calendar, and festivals. The sixth part, Leviticus chapters 24, includes additional moral laws and rules, such as those concerning the sabbatical and jubilee years. Reading this book may leave one awestruck by the many detailed rules and rubrics legislated. Jesus referred to some of these laws and practices, which were meticulously observed, leading to conflicts with the Pharisees, who saw themselves as guardians and keepers of the law. 2. Name and meaning of the Book of Leviticus. The title Leviticus derives from the Latin Vulgate translation of the Old Testament, meaning pertaining to the Levites. The Levites, from the tribe of Levi, were chosen by God to serve in the sanctuary. In Hebrew, the Book of Leviticus is also known as Vayikra, which translates to "and he called," the first word of the book. The book outlines the duties of the Levite priests and lay Israelites. It instructs priests on how to assist the people in worship and informs the people on how to live a holy life. Leviticus, the third book of the Bible, is also referred to as the Holiness Code, Leviticus 17 to 26, because it specifies the requirements for Israel to remain holy. To be holy in this context means to be consecrated and set apart by God for himself. Israel, being God's chosen people, has a covenant with him. They are to remain distinct from the Gentiles, striving to be like their God rather than conforming to other peoples. 3. Time span. The Exodus event took place in 1270 BC. The tabernacle was completed 1 year after this event, Exodus chapter 40 verse 17. The book of Leviticus begins in the 2nd year following the completion of the tabernacle. 4. Authorship of the Book of Leviticus. The authorship of the book is not explicitly clear, and modern scholars have diverse views on the matter. Although God revealed his instructions to Moses, there is no definitive evidence that Moses wrote down what he heard. However, 3 strong arguments support the idea of Moses as the author. A. The book assumes that the laws were given to Moses in the desert, frequently using the phrase, "the Lord spoke unto Moses." B. The sacrificial systems and rituals described in the book can be linked to the time of Moses, resembling the terms used by Israel's neighboring cultures for sacrifices during that period. C. Certain contents and issues in the book, such as intermarriage with Canaanites, the office of high priest, and tithe laws, are not suitable for the needs of the period after the exile. 5. Context of the Book of Leviticus. The Book of Leviticus emphasizes the holiness of God and contrasts it with the sinfulness of human beings. God outlines the necessary steps for his people to restore the fellowship that was lost due to the defilement of sin. These laws are designed to govern the entire lives of the people chosen to serve God. The core message of God's laws is encapsulated in the statement, "You shall be holy to me, for I the Lord am holy," Leviticus chapter 20 verse 26. The conditions laid down to observe the covenant formed with Moses flow throughout the book, but are most prominently visible in Leviticus chapter 26. The formation of a new nation hinges on obedience or disobedience to the stipulations in the covenant, with corresponding consequences. The 5 sacrifices and offerings are symbolic and were designed to allow truly penitent and thankful worshippers to express their faith in and love for God through the observance of these rituals. When the heart was not repentant and thankful, God was not pleased with the ritual. The offerings were burnt, symbolizing the worshipper's desire to be purged of sin and sending up the fragrant smoke of true worship to God. The many detailed aspects of the rituals were meant to teach exactness and precision, enabling the people to obey God's moral and spiritual laws and revere every facet of His word. In addition to the moral, ceremonial, and civil laws set forth in the book, there are also historical sections centered around the priesthood. These include the consecration of the priests, Leviticus chapters 8 to 9, sin and punishment, Leviticus chapter 20, and the stoning of the blasphemer, Leviticus chapter 24 verses 10 to 16. 6 themes in the Book of Leviticus. 4 important themes in the Book of Leviticus directly relate to the Book of Exodus. 1. The presence of God in Israelite worship, Leviticus chapter 22. 2. The concept of holiness. The motto of Leviticus is "Be holy, for I am holy," Leviticus chapter 11 verses 44 to 45, chapter 19 verse 2, chapter 20 verse 7. 3. The role of sacrifice. This major concept is emphasized in Leviticus chapters 1 to 7. 4. The covenant. This fundamental concept forms the theological basis of Leviticus. As a result, Leviticus can be considered a sequel to Exodus. 7. Conclusion. The Book of Leviticus outlines how covenant worship should be conducted, Leviticus chapters 1 to 17, and how the covenant people should behave, Leviticus chapters 18 to 25. The book concludes with a section of blessings and curses, fitting for a covenant document, Leviticus chapter 26. The last verse, Leviticus chapters 26 verse 46, effectively ties together everything from Sinai, where the covenant was established, with these words, "These are the statutes and judgments and laws, which the Lord made between him and the children of Israel on Mount Sinai by the hand of Moses." Leviticus chapter 16 reaches its climax with God's instructions for making atonement for sin on the Great Day of Atonement. This atonement was performed when the high priest entered the Holy of Holies and sprinkled blood upon the mercy seat. By this act, the sins of the entire nation for the previous year were forgiven by God. The mercy shown by God on the Day of Atonement foreshadows the work of Christ and has been called the most beautiful flower of all messianic symbolism. Thank you for viewing and listening to this lesson. Kindly place your feedback in the comments. Kindly subscribe and share. God bless you.